Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Grace Game Day. I think we're finally working here. Two and 0 the count. He shows bunt again, and it's once again Hine outside 3-0. It's Caleb Burgess at the plate. Colton Garrison, the base runner at first. No score. We're in the bottom of the second. And that's going to be another walk. So that puts runners at first and second now. Still no one out here in the bottom of the second. Grace looking to break up this scoreless game. Nice bunt. Hunter Lopez right back to the pitcher. Oh, a stretch at third base, and he got him. When that bunt left his bat, I thought it was going to drop a little bit more, but it almost became a ground ball back to the pitcher. So he had time to go to third base and get the lead runner. Sam Bentley at the plate. Strike one to him. Swing and a miss, strike two. It's 0-2 the count. Runners at first and second. Here's the 0-2. Inside, he had to dip out of the way there. That was very close to catching him in the left arm. Bentley back in, 1-2. Curveball dips into the strike zone for a called strike three. That was a nasty pitch. It's going to bring Ethan Burton to the plate. Oh, and 1 the count to Burton. That one's over his head, 1-1. Swing and a miss. One ball, two strikes. Just off the outside corner. Outside again, and the count has run full. Three balls and two strikes to Burton. Here's the payoff pitch. Ground ball on the right side. It's slow. First baseman charging. Flips to Gonzalez covering, and they get him. So we're going to move to the third inning now. We're still scoreless. We'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this.
You have cancer. Sure wasn't expecting that. Not with these two. But my team at Texas Oncology has been right there for me. They said my family is a huge part of my treatment plan. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Right here is where I want to be. I'll see you in the morning.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day as we move into the third inning. Still scoreless between Grace and Brentwood. Both teams have had runners in scoring position. Neither team has been able to push one across. And so now Bigby returns to the mound. And Brentwood returns to the top of their lineup. Tanner Hunka leading off. First pitch to him is low and away. Fouled away, evens the count. 1-1. That ball's high, ball two. So the count will go to 2-1 as the pitcher for Brentwood, Jack Gonzalez, waits on deck. And that is fouled back over the screen and out of play, makes it 2-2. Here's the pitch. It's high and the count runs full. Three and two. And it goes over his head for ball four. And so Brentwood has a leadoff base runner to start the third. So now Jack Gonzalez steps to the plate. Runner goes. That pitch is hit into left field for a base hit. So first pitch swinging. And now there's runners at first and second with nobody out here in the top of the third. Dalton Griswold to the plate. And that pitch is low, ball one. Another pitch low, ball two, 2-0 the count. And we're going to get a time called here. Coach Kraft out to pay a visit to Noah Bigby. The infield gathers in. I want to say thank you to a couple of our sponsors. Big thank you to Harley's. Harley's is a great place for men to get menswear. They got pants, shoes, socks, belts, dress shirts, polo shirts, sport coats, suits, ties, everything you can think of. They'll get you fixed up and get you looking right. If you've got an occasion, an event coming up, I would encourage you, go see the crew at Harley's and let them get you fixed up. We appreciate their support of Grace Game Day. It's 2-0 the count on Griswold. Inside, ball three. Three and 0. High, ball four, and the bases are loaded. Still nobody out. And we're going to have a pitching change here as Coach Johnston comes out, and Wyatt Buchanan is going to come in and begin warming up. We'll take a break here at Grace Game Day. We'll be back right after this.
Looking for a place to belong? At Hope Church, you'll find practical teaching, genuine community, and a fresh start each week. No perfect people required. Whether you're exploring faith or ready for your next step, there's a seat for you in person or online. Come as you are and leave encouraged. Start your week with hope. Visit yourhope.church.
we're set to go again. Bases loaded. Buchanan comes in, and he throws a first pitch strike on the outside corner. At the plate for Brentwood is that pitch is outside for a ball. Is Luke, and I believe the handwriting that I'm looking at here from the Brentwood lineup card, I believe the last name is Vandershoot. If I'm getting that wrong and you are from Austin, I apologize. The 1-1. Ground ball through the hole on the left-hand side. And it's going to plate only one runner. So 1-0 Brentwood. The bases are still loaded. Now Parker Saxon comes to the plate. Buchanan is set. That's high ball one. Very vertically tight strike zone. And that pitch would have been high for really any strike zone, 2-0. The runners take their leads. And Buchanan comes home. Swing and a miss. Strike one. I want to thank you for your patience with the Grace Game Day baseball broadcast today. Everything that we did for the boys' baseball game the other night did not work. Everything that I did at the girls' game at 1 o'clock today also did not work. And so and we've got all kinds of stuff taking place. The runner's going to be safe at first. The base runner at first base got way off the bag, and the throw went down to first, and he stepped on the bag, but it was not a force. So there had to be a tag applied, and there was no tag. And so now Saxon is back in. It's a 3-1 count. So the runner scored from third, and the second base runner went to third. Runners at the corners. That's lined into left center for a base hit. Another run is going to come home. And it's now 3-0 Brentwood. And still no one out here in the top of the third. Drake Jackson comes to the plate. 3-0 Brentwood. Grace won the first baseball game of this doubleheader by the score of 3-0. He shows bunt, lays one down right back to Buchanan. Buchanan goes to first and gets the out there. And so the runners advance second and third now with one away. So now Levi Barron or excuse me, Liam McGaughy. That's over his head, goes to the screen, and nobody comes home. It has been an adventurous top of the third, and still only one away with 2 runners in scoring position. Fly ball. And that's Bigby that makes the catch there, just on the edge of the infield grass, or the outfield grass. So the runners stay put. And now Levi Barron comes to the plate. 2 away now in the top of the third. As Buchanan and the rest of the Cougars are doing everything they can to hold this to a 3-0 ball game. That pitch is high, ball 1. High and inside, ball 2. The count goes 2-0. Right down the middle, strike call. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. 1 run is home. Here's the other runner coming, and he's going to cross the plate. So it is a 2-run base hit. And Brentwood now leads 5-0.
It didn't matter in the end.
So 5-0. Strike 1 call. Trey Wood at the plate. Here's the pitch. Hit into center field. Burgess charges, makes the catch, and the side is retired, but not before Brentwood puts 5 runs on the board. And so we go to the bottom of the third. It's Brentwood 5, Grace nothing. We'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this.
Need a boost before school? Or a sweet treat to celebrate the big game or a great grade on a test? Brewed fresh, poured bold. Lattes, cold brew, espresso, and more. 2 legendary names, 1 sweet shop. Bluebell plus Tillamook equals scoop and grind magic. More than a shop, it's your local hangout. Great coffee, amazing ice cream, even better company. Win or lose, celebrate with a scoop. Game days taste better at Scoop and Grind. Stop by Scoop and Grind today. Located on Highway 64, just 3 miles from the Grace Upper Campus.
I'll see you soon at Scoop and Grind.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day. I'm Preston Proctor as we're getting set now for the start of the bottom of the third inning. Grace back to the top of their lineup with Wallace, Buchanan, and Etheridge due up. Trailing in this game 5-0 after a 5 spot from Brentwood in the top of the third. And that is with the way that Jack Gonzalez is pitching in this game, 5 runs is going to be a tall order. And so they need to see if they can crack the armor quickly. I want to say thank you to Allstate, Monette Taylor, local agent in White House, Texas, for sponsoring Grace Game Day. We appreciate your support. For your insurance needs, I'd encourage you, go sit down with Monette and her team and just see what they can do for you. Excellent customer service and a local friendly agent. So Wallace steps in to lead off. Low, ball 1. Ball 2. 2-0 the count. Grounded up the middle. Shortstop is there. Fields throws and got him. It's Dalton Griswold got there, and he quickly got that ball out of his glove and across to first. Very close play. So 1 away. Here's Buchanan. First pitch to him is a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Fouled off out of play. 0-2 to Buchanan. Gonzalez is set. And he hit him. Breaking ball didn't break enough. And Buchanan just stood in there and took it off the upper body. So now we're going to get a runner for him. It's going to be Emmanuel Sanchez. And Slade Etheridge comes to the plate. 1 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. Ground ball. Second goes to 1. On to first. And it's a double play. So we've completed 3 at Grace Community School Upper Campus. Brentwood 5, Grace 0. We'll be back right after this.
You have cancer. Sure wasn't expecting that. Not with these 2. But my team at Texas Oncology has been right there for me. They said my family is a huge part of my treatment plan. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Right here is where I want to be. I'll see you in the morning.
So, welcome back to Grace Game Day, first of all, and we just thought we were done with the bottom of the third, but we are not, however. So, the ground ball that Etheridge hit, it glanced off the leg of the infield umpire in fair territory between first and second base. Then the second baseman fielded it, flipped it to second, and then the relay on to first, and it was a double play. However, according to high school baseball rules, and Coach Wes Johnston came out in between the frames, and he argued, and according to the ruling that I just looked up, if the ball hits the umpire, the infield umpire, in fair territory, the ball is dead immediately, and the batter is awarded first base, and all runners are then for advance one base. So when that ground ball was hit, there was a runner on first base, and there was one out. So now Etheridge, according to rules, is going to be awarded first base, and Emmanuel Sanchez, who was the base runner at first base, is now going to go to second base. There's still one out, and Noah Bigby is coming to the plate. Now, according to the rules, if this took place with an outfield umpire, which you really rarely ever see in high school baseball, then the ball is still live. But since it was an infield umpire, the ruling is correct, and hats off to Coach Johnston for knowing that and coming out and pleading his case and getting them to get it right. And now we've got to pause before we get back to the action. I believe they're waiting for the coaches from Brentwood, and now here he comes. Looked like they were over there looking it up for themselves. Now, according to what I just looked up, the call that they reversed it to is the correct call. The ball is immediately ruled dead, and the batter is awarded first base. But apparently, we are not finished here. One of the Brentwood coaches has a phone that he just handed to the umpire. Coach Johnston is talking to the other umpire right there at the third baseline. And now there's clapping coming from the third base dugout. So they appear to be reversing the reversal. I would love to know what the Brentwood coach showed the umpire. And if I was Coach Johnston, I'd be demanding to see it. Because I have it right in front of me. I just looked it up, and it plainly says in high school baseball, it depends on where the umpire is positioned when the ball hits him. If the umpire is in the infield in fair territory, the ball is dead immediately. And the batter is awarded first base. All runners advance if forced. And it says this is because the umpire is considered part of the field once he's inside fair territory and interference is called. You'd think so. So now we're back to the umpire discussing things with the Brentwood coach, and now he looks unhappy again. So now we're back to the to the other ruling. Grace is coming back out to bat some more. Wow. So we're back to runners at first and second. And the bottom of the third will continue. The Brentwood coach is still not happy about it, but now a pitch has been thrown. And so you got to move on. 1-0 the count. And that's going to be a ball as well, 2-0. So we have Sanchez on second base, Etheridge at first, Bigby at the plate. Here's the pitch. Low ball 3. And you got to wonder, as well as the pitcher has pitched, you have some back and forth like that. What does it do to his rhythm, his psyche? He finds the zone right there, 3-1. Ground ball up the middle to the shortstop. He steps on first for one, steps on second for one, throws to first and gets it. So what a turn of events after all of that to ground into a double play. So now we are, I believe, officially headed to the fourth inning, and we'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this.
A boost before school? Or a sweet treat to celebrate the big game or a great grade on a test? Brewed fresh, poured bold. Lattes, cold brew, espresso, and more. 2 legendary names, 1 sweet shop. Bluebell plus Tillamook equals scoop and grind magic. More than a shop, it's your local hangout. Great coffee, amazing ice cream, even better company. Win or lose, celebrate with a scoop. Game days taste better at Scoop and Grind. Stop by Scoop and Grind today. Located on Highway 64, just 3 miles from the Grace Upper Campus.
I'll see you soon at Scoop and Grind.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day. We're headed to the top of the fourth. Emmanuel Sanchez on the mound now for the Cougars. So a lot of back and forth to end the third inning. And so just to recap it for you, in case you're just tuning in or you were watching and you weren't really sure what was going on. Emmanuel Sanchez was the base runner on first. There was one away, and Etheridge hit a ground ball that glanced off of the infield umpire, was picked up by Brentwood, thrown to second for one, on to first for the double play, and the inning appeared to be over. And Coach Johnston came out and argued that it hit the umpire. By rule, the ball is dead, and the batter's awarded first base. And so they agreed. After quite some discussion, they agreed. Then the Brentwood coaches did not agree. And after some discussion with them, they reversed the decision. And then I didn't even see really the discussion that took place after that, but the umpires got together and they talked. And then they reversed it back again, ruling that the batter needed to be awarded first base. Then the very next batter hit into a double play and the inning was over. And so now here we are. We find ourselves beginning the fourth inning with Grace trailing Brentwood 5-0. Emmanuel Sanchez again is now on the mound for the Cougars. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Ground ball foul. 0-2. And so that's a ground ball to Bentley. I thought he caught it in the air. And he showed his glove as if he caught it in the air. Still threw the runner out at first, but that seems to become a little bit more adventurous than it needed to. That brings up Jack Gonzalez. And that pitch is outside, ball one. That pitch is high, 2-0. Here's the 2-0. Nice pitch. He pulled a string on that one, 2-1. High, ball three. Strike call. And the count goes full to Gonzalez. Sanchez is set. The payoff pitch. Outside, ball four. So Gonzalez takes a walk. And that brings up Dalton Griswold, the shortstop. Outside, ball one. Pickoff throw to first. He's safe. Swing and a miss. Evens the count at 1-1. Ball two. Sanchez with a peek over to first. Here's the 2-1. Ground ball to third. He goes to second for one, and that's all they'll get. But nice job there getting the lead runner. So now two away in the inning. And Luke Vandershoot stepping into the batter's box. He hits one high to left field. Ranging over, and the catch is made. And that's going to retire the side. So it's a scoreless top of the fourth for Brentwood. We're headed to the bottom of the fourth. Still 5-0. We'll be back right after this.
You have cancer. Sure wasn't expecting that. Not with these two. but my team at Texas Oncology has been right there for me. They said my family is a huge part of my treatment plan. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Right here is where I want to be. I'll see you in the morning.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day as we head into the bottom of the fourth inning. Colton Garrison to lead off. Ball one. There's the 1-0, fouled back into the screen. 1-1. In the dirt. 2-1. Garrison takes a healthy hack at that one. Comes up empty. 2-2 the count. It's Garrison leading off the bottom of the fourth. And it was either a missed pitch or a missed call. I'm not sure. Garrison sends one into center field, just behind second base. And Griswold is there. So one retired here in the bottom of the fourth. That 2-2 pitch was dangerously close. It looked like a pitch that he's called a strike. So now here's Caleb Burgess. High and outside, ball one. Jack Gonzalez still on the mound for Brentwood, and he's pitched a really, really nice game. Inside, ball two, gets past the catcher and rolls to the wall. Hunter Lopez retrieves it. Way outside, ball three. So a little bit erratic right here for Gonzalez, which, maybe he needs to take a rest. Right down the middle for a strike. Obviously, we don't want anybody, we never wish injury on anybody, but when a pitcher's dealing like Gonzalez has been dealing, then, just kind of like for him to possibly have to take a break.
Yes, sir.
There's a 3-1 grounded up the middle, and it's into center field for a base hit. Center fielder has a little bit of trouble getting it back to the infield, but no harm there. The runner stays at first. And so now Hunter Lopez is going to step in. And the pitch. High ball one. That was a big step-off lead over there for Burgess. You got to wonder if he's thinking about going or if they're considering sending him. Swing and a miss as Burgess worked his way out to another large secondary lead. Snap throw over, and they caught him. He was leaning towards second base. And they got him. That was a really good move by Gonzalez. So now nobody on and 2 outs as Lopez steps back in 1-1. Twists out of the way as that fastball came inside. Three and 1 the count. Strike call. And the count runs full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the payoff pitch. Ball 4 inside. So now Sam Bentley comes to the plate. Lines it right back up the middle, a base hit. Just barreled right up on that one. And now we got runners at first and second. Bentley stepped in and did not waste any time. Swung at the first pitch and was all over it. Right back up the middle. And here comes the Brentwood coach. And right now it's just a meeting between the coach, the pitcher, and the catcher. So you got to think Gonzalez is going to stay in at this point. He's just checking in on him. And it's moments like this when you're the opponent, you're not sure if you want the pitcher who is tiring to go out. He's been so dominant through the first 4 innings of this game. And so Gonzalez stays in. Ethan Burton comes to the plate. Runners at first and second. Outside corner, strike 1 call. And he steps off. Here's the 0-1. And it hit him. Ethan saw that coming right at him. Just turned his head and took it off the back of the helmet. Got him a little bit in the neck area, too, so they're going to take a look at him over there. And so after some conversation there, Ethan's going to stay in. And he did what any Texas boy will do. He reached down and got a handful of dirt and rubbed it on it. Put some absolute reality to rub some dirt on it. So now the bases are loaded. Back to the top of the order. Ball one. Way outside, ball two. Low portion of the strike zone there. Called a strike, 2-1. In the dirt, ball three. There's nowhere to put him. Gonzalez flirting with walking a runner in. Wallace, the leadoff hitter, in a hitter's count. Here's the 3-1. Inside, ball four. And a run comes across the plate for the Cougars. And now they'll make a pitching change. So there's a pitching change on the upper campus of Grace Community. We'll be back right after this.
Looking for a place to belong? At Hope Church, you'll find practical teaching, genuine community, and a fresh start each week. No perfect people required. Whether you're exploring faith or ready for your next step, there's a seat for you in person or online. Come as you are and leave encouraged. Start your week with hope. Visit yourhope.church.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day. Pitching change. It is Tanner Hunka. But all of a sudden, Cougars are a hit away from really being right back in this ball game. So here we go. Emmanuel Sanchez stepping in. And the bases are loaded. Jack Gonzalez, in the last batter he faced, walked That's in the dirt outside, ball one. But Jack Gonzalez walked David Wallace, and that forced in a run. So it's 5-1. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, ball two. And this might be just the break that the Cougars needed. Strike call on the outside corner, 2-1. Sanchez steps back in. Looper into right field, and what a catch. And I apologize for not moving the camera over there for that. I'm running solo today. Josh wasn't able to be here. That was really a great catch by Drake Jackson. Man, that was a moment. If that ball drops, at least 2 runs score.
It's arguably one of our best hitters, though. It's a good hit.
So that'll do it for the 4th. All right, we're headed to the 5th, and we'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this.
Looking for a place to belong? At Hope Church, you'll find practical teaching, genuine community, and a fresh start each week. No perfect people required. Whether you're exploring faith or ready for your next step, there's a seat for you in person or online. Come as you are and leave encouraged. Start your week with hope. Visit yourhope.church.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day. As we are beginning the 5th inning of play. Grace got 1 run across in the bottom of the 4th. Had the opportunity there to possibly get more, but a great play. Really great play by Drake Jackson. Saved a couple of runs. And it saved from the inning continuing. So now Sanchez back on the mound. And Parker Saxon steps in. Strike call. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 0-2 the count to Saxon. And we've got time called at the plate. Fouled off out of play. Oh, and 2 the count still. Inside, ball 1. Just outside, evens the count at 2-2. Beautiful pitch, pulled a string and rung him up, strike 3. So Saxon goes down on strikes. That brings Drake Jackson to the plate. I apologize. I was crediting Drake Jackson with the catch to end the inning. It was not him. It was Luke Vandershoot. Strike call in the inside corner. There's the 0-1 high. Ball one. Sanchez kicks and delivers. Outside, ball two. Ground ball. Scooped up at second base by Bigby. Throw to first is in time. 2 away. Two away. And fouled off at the plate. Grounded foul. Third base side. It's 0-2 now. In the dirt, ball one. Sanchez delivers the 1-2. Gets it off the end of the bat, but right to Burton at first. And he picks it up and steps on the bag, and that will retire the side. So we're headed to the bottom of the fifth. Still 5-1, Brentwood. We'll be back right after this.
You have cancer. Sure wasn't expecting that. Not with these two. But my team at Texas Oncology has been right there for me. They said my family is a huge part of my treatment plan. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Right here is where I want to be. I'll see you in the morning.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day. I'm Preston Proctor bringing you today's action. Grace took game one of this doubleheader by the score of 3-0. The Grace girls softball team took game one of their doubleheader by the score of 12-2. And I'm not certain what happened over there for game two. I do believe that Brentwood was able to win game two. And Grace battling for the opportunity to sweep Brentwood in this doubleheader today. And So Slade Etheridge will lead off, followed by Bigby. First pitch is high, ball one. In the dirt, ball two. Generous call on that one, 2-1. Hit high, deep to left field. Racing back, and it's gone. I couldn't tell. He ran into the fence, and I wasn't certain if he might have got his hand on it, or his glove on it, excuse me. So that's a solo shot for Slade Etheridge. If only he could have done that with the bases loaded in that last half inning. 5-2. And we've got time called here. Here's Bigby. High, ball one. Ball two. We're going to get a mound visit. And they've seen enough of Tanner Hunka. So still no outs in the bottom of the fifth. Grace has moved to within 3 by virtue of a solo shot from Slade Etheridge to start the game. So we'll take a break as the new pitcher is coming in to warm up. That new pitcher is Parker Saxon, and we'll be back right after this.
Need a boost before school? Or a sweet treat to celebrate the big game or a great grade on a test? Brewed fresh, poured bold. Lattes, cold brew, espresso, and more. 2 legendary names, 1 sweet shop. Bluebell plus Tillamook equals scoop and grind magic. More than a shop, it's your local hangout. Great coffee, amazing ice cream, even better company. Win or lose, celebrate with a scoop. Game days taste better at Scoop and Grind. Stop by Scoop and Grind today. Located on Highway 64, just 3 miles from the Grace Upper Campus.
I'll see you soon at Scoop and Grind.
right, we're back to the action. Parker Saxon on the mound for Brentwood. Bigby steps into the plate. Outside corner strike call. So 2-1 the count. Garrison on deck. And that is hit into left center. And that is caught. So one away. Colton Garrison comes to the plate. That pitch is high, ball one. Here's the 1-0. High, ball two. Strike call. Fouled back over the screen. 2-2 the count. And he steps off the rubber. Comes set again. Long pause on the mound, and he steps off again. Here's the 2-2. Grounded back up the middle. Fielded, and the throw is late and wide. And Garrison is aboard. One on, one out. Caleb Burgess coming to the plate. Garrison with a nice lead at first. Hit down the left field line, tailing away and out of play. No balls, one strike. Pick throw over to first, not in time. One to Burgess. Fouled back over the screen, out of play. It's 0-2. That's low ball 1-2. Grace would really like to manufacture another run or two here in this inning. High ball 2, so the count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. Garrison, the base runner at first base. That throw over is late. Garrison's back. The 2-2. Slapped right to shortstop. And he boots it. Everybody's safe. That had tailor-made double play written all over it, except for the fact that Burgess would get down the line pretty quick. It was not going to be an easy play. But runners at first and second now. Hunter Lopez coming to the plate. Still only 1 away. A little check swing, strike. Oh and 1 to Lopez. And Saxon steps off again. He's either not comfortable or he's not getting signs very well, but he's stepped off several times. Here's the pitch. Low. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 runners on. 3-run game. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Lopez taking a cut at that one, not able to catch up to it. Saxon is set. Here's the 1-2. Low, ball 2. The pitch. Ground ball to shortstop. Goes to second for 1. On to first. Safe. So 2 outs now, runners at the corners, and Sam Bentley coming to the plate. And a fake throw to third, turn back to first. Nobody biting. Bentley looks at strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Outside, ball 1. And Saxon steps off again. The 1-1. Popped up. Foul territory. And the catcher is there to make the play. And that will end the inning. So they leave 2 aboard. And we're headed to the 6th. Still 5-2 Brentwood. We'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this.
Looking for a place to belong? At Hope Church, you'll find practical teaching, genuine community, and a fresh start each week. No perfect people required. Whether you're exploring faith or ready for your next step, there's a seat for you in person or online. Come as you are and leave encouraged. Start your week with hope. Visit yourhope.church.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day. I'm Preston Proctor. It's 5-2 Brentwood as we start the 6th inning of play. Sanchez still on the mound for the Cougars. Levi Barron, the 9-hole batter. First pitch to him is high, ball 1. Way inside. 2-0. Barron looked like he didn't mind wearing that one. Swing and a miss as Sanchez pulled a string on that one. Two and one. Lined down the left field line, foul. Out of play. And the count is even at 2. Sanchez kicks and delivers outside. And it's a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sanchez comes set. And the payoff pitch. Ground ball weakly. Bentley charges, bare hands, throws. And it's not going to be an out. Runner gets up and makes his way to second. Tough play. That ball was not hit well. And then you combine the thick grass on this infield and very slow moving ball. So a runner on second now. Nobody out. And the batter calls time. That is lined into the gap in left center. And Barron scores from second on the play. And it's 6-2 Brentwood. Inside ball one. And ball's outside for ball two, 2-0 the count. Sanchez beginning to labor a little bit on the mound. Ground ball through the hole on the left side, a base hit. The Brentwood coach throws on the stop sign. Runners at the corners. Still nobody out here in the top of the sixth. Popped up on the left side. And it drops. Just was kind of in a no man's land. Just too far for everybody involved. So now the bases are loaded. And there's still nobody out. Dalton Griswold comes to the plate. Lined down the left field line, a fair ball, and it's going to get all the way to the wall. One run is home. The second one comes home and scores. And we're going to have runners now at second and third as Brentwood has extended their lead to 8-2. And so Sanchez afternoon on the mound is done. Colton Garrison coming to the mound. There's runners on second and third. There's still nobody out in the top of the sixth. And it's 8-2 Brentwood. We'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this. So Colton Garrison comes to the mound. And he's going to face Luke Vandershoot. Runners on second and third. Nobody out. Swing and a miss. Gets back to the wall. Here's the flip, and he's safe. Outside ball. Ground ball to Bentley. Long throw across. And we'll get the out at first, but another runner scores. And it's now 10-2. One and 0 the count. Parker Saxon at the plate. Strike call on the outside corner. Evens the count at 1-1. Just outside, 2-1. Hit into straightaway center field, and it falls in front of Burgess. Drake Jackson. Outside ball one. Garrison slings that one in for a strike, 1-1. Snap throw to first. Saxon is back in time. So the count remains 1 ball, 1 strike. There's 1 out. Runner on first base. Outside corner, strike 2 call. Way outside, evens the count at 2-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. 2-0 the count. Throws over. Inside ball 3. And that's high ball 4. Levi Barron coming to the plate. High and inside ball 1. Runners at first and second. Fouled back into the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. Garrison comes home. Strike call. One ball, 2 strikes. 2 away in the inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And that is going to be the end of the inning. But the damage is done. And a 5 spot in the top of the 6th increases the Brentwood lead to 10-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. We'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this.
Looking for a place to belong? At Hope Church, you'll find practical teaching, genuine community, and a fresh start each week. No perfect people required. Whether you're exploring faith or ready for your next step, there's a seat for you in person or online. Come as you are and leave encouraged. Start your week with hope. Visit yourhope.church.
Well, the good news.
Yeah. Welcome back to Grace Game Day. Ten to 2 is the score as we begin the bottom of the 6th. Ethan Burton at the plate. Swing and a miss, strike one. And a late strike call. You had to think about that one for a second. 0-2 the count. Checks his swing, 1-2. Here's the pitch. Inside. Ball two. Burton was prepared to wear another one. Took one off the back of the head and neck area earlier in the game. There's the pitch. Hit into shallow center field, right on the edge of the grass. The shortstop makes the catch. And so there's one away. And here's David Wallace coming to the plate. Strike call on the outside portion of the plate. Well, the catch is made as my stellar camera work took over there. I apologize. Josh is normally here running camera while I'm running the computer and everything else, the computer and the soundboard, and I'm doing my best to run the camera without just backing out and giving you this bird's eye view of the whole field. And so I apologize for probably making some of you dizzy on that one. Inside, ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. That's lined back up the middle. It's a base hit. Sanchez with great contact there. So now Etheridge will come up. Etheridge hit a home run to left field earlier in the game. Snap throw over to first. Etheridge looks at that one. Strike 1. Or is it strike 2? He might have. In the dirt. So is it 1-1? All right. I wasn't sure. I was not confident in what I was saying, that's for sure. 1-1 the count to Etheridge. And he crushes one to left center. Well, I thought he got more of it than he did. It's caught. I thought he got more of that one than he did the home run ball. That sounded good coming off the bat, but it is caught in left center. And that is going to be it for the 6th inning. So we're moving to the 7th inning. Grace trailing Brentwood 10-2. We'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this.
Need a boost before school? Or a sweet treat to celebrate the big game or a great grade on a test? Brewed fresh, poured bold. Lattes, cold brew, espresso, and more. 2 legendary names, 1 sweet shop. Bluebell plus Tillamook equals scoop and grind magic. More than a shop, it's your local hangout. Great coffee, amazing ice cream, even better company. Win or lose, celebrate with a scoop. Game days taste better at Scoop and Grind. Stop by Scoop and Grind today. Located on Highway 64, just 3 miles from the Grace Upper Campus.
I'll see you soon at Scoop and Grind.
Welcome back to Grace Game Day. I'm Preston Proctor. Thank you to Scoop and Grind for being a sponsor of Grace Game Day this year. And a great place to get some coffee, ice cream, milkshakes. They have breakfast options. Really, really great place. And it's not far from the Grace Community Upper Campus. If you leave the Grace Community Upper Campus and you head toward Chapel Hill, when you get to the light at 64, turn left. And just probably about a quarter of a mile or so on the left, you'll find Scoop and Grind. It's a red sign with white lettering. And if you go in there and you say, hey, I heard about you on Grace Game Day, and they told me I'd get 10% off my order for mentioning that, they'll give you 10% off your order. And so thank you so much to Lori and Scoop and Grind. We appreciate the support. And so Grace Community, let's support them. So we begin the top of the 7th now. Hit into center field for a base hit. That was Trey Wood with the hit there. So now Tanner Hunka comes to the plate. Strike call on the outside corner. Ground ball. Bentley stabs at it. Makes the long throw across. Not in time. Outside for ball 1 to Jack Gonzalez. Checks his swing, called strike on the outside corner, so 1-1. And a swinging bunt down the third baseline results in a base hit. Bases are loaded now. Dalton Griswold at the plate. Strike call on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Ground ball to short, to second for 1, and that's all they'll get. So a run comes home, and it's 11-2. Luke Vandershoot steps in. Runners at the corners, 1 away. Throw over to first. Everybody back safely. Ground ball to Bentley. Gets the in-between hop, makes the long throw, and gets him. And another run comes home. It's 12-2. So now runner at second and 2 outs as Parker Saxon comes to the plate. Garrison delivers. Ground ball foul. Nice job at short to make that play. And that's going to be the 3rd out. The side is retired. David Wallace showing the range and the arm. Nice play. We'll be back to Grace Game Day right after this. Welcome back to Grace Game Day as we're in the bottom of the 7th inning. And it's now or never. All we need is a touchdown, the extra point, and a field goal to tie it. Noah Bigby to lead off. Looks at strike 1. Ground ball to short. Griswold charges. And the throw is in time. And there's one away in the inning. Popped up. Griswold calling for it. And he makes the catch. And the Cougars are down to their final out. Caleb Burgess to the plate. That's ball one. Ball two. 2-0 the count. Strike on the outside corner, 2-1 to Burgess. Low, ball three. And so now 3-1 count. Burgess steps back in. Lined back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Nice shot by Burgess to get on base with 2 away. Brings Hunter Lopez to the plate. Ball one to Lopez. That's low, ball two. Three and 0 as that ball comes in high. And Lopez steps back in. And that bounces in at the plate, so it's ball four. And there's runners at first and second as the Brentwood coach will make a trip to the mound. Sam Bentley steps in. Runners at first and second. Outside corner, strike one. It's low, ball one. Here's the 1-1. Outside, ball two. Low and away, ball 3. 3-1 the count. Ethan Burton waiting on deck. And just in case you're watching still and you believe in miracles, that gets us back after Burton to the top of the lineup. Strike call, and the Cougars are down to their final strike. Runners at first and second, 2 away. The count is full. The payoff pitch. Ground ball, shortstop side. Griswold is there, makes the throw across, and that is the ball game. And so the final score tonight is Brentwood 12, Grace 2. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Grace Game Day tonight. We appreciate you so much. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Once again, your final score for Game 2 of this doubleheader, Brentwood 12, Grace 2. And until next time, so long, everybody.